It's all yours.
My name is Bob Weiner. I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and somehow as a child I got interested in aircraft and built model planes. And when I went to high school, I took courses in science, and when I went to college, I majored in chemistry and mathematics. But before I got to college in 1945, I enlisted in the Army. And for whatever reason, the Army placed me in the Air Corps. You see that on my cap, U.S. Army Air Corps. At that time, there was no Air Force. It was the Army Air Corps. So that's essentially my biography. The Army sometimes is a little bit ineffective, though not always. And after basic, they sent me to control tower school. So I became an experienced control tower operator. And at one point, they transferred me to Anchorage, Alaska, to Elmendorf Air Force Base, and told me I was now a ground control radar operator. So essentially, very quickly, I learned to be a ground control radar operator. And what that amounted to was, in a time of bad weather, which in Alaska in the wintertime was most often, when aircraft came in to land and there was difficult weather, frequently the pilot could not see the airport. And with radar, we could tell the pilot exactly how to fly to find the airport and what he had to do to adjust his glide path and compass reading to hit the runway, so the pilot would land blind. And first thing he knew was when his wheels touched the runway. So it was for an 18-year-old kid, it was not stressful, it was adventure. I enlisted in 45, and by the time I got to Elmendorf, it was 46, so that was over. But these were reconnaissance flights by the bombers wherever they went. And coming back, they had to find some place to come in. So, because normally they would not have landed at Elmendorf. They would have gone on to someplace in continental U.S. But this way, this was a good stopping off point for the bombers. Talking this pilot down, and at one point said, okay, the routine was, all right, you're on the glide path, and you're on the center line, and you will be landing. And the pilot said, I don't see anything, I'm going. And he pulled up and away. The radar shack, the runway was going this way. Radar shack is next to the runway, so that we were really there about 10 yards off the runway. And he pulled up and around, and we could feel and hear his engines and propeller, and the vibration shook the radar shack a little bit. So he didn't miss us by too much, which was a nice thing.
Can you tell me what year when you went on your honor flight, and can you tell me what that experience meant to you in terms of your service and the welcome and thank you got from the public?
Well, it was interesting to meet some of those vets along the way on the honor flight. The treatment that we got from the people who took us around was extremely, extremely pleasant and wonderful. And seeing Washington in a different way than I'd seen it before was interesting. But the most emotional part happened when we came back. and we walked from the airplane through the crowd to meet whoever was picking us up. It made me feel extraordinary. I couldn't imagine that we were being given this kind of accolade. You know what? I can't say thank you enough for how Honor Flight treated me.